Hey, what's up, peeps? I am Project Commentary, and welcome to the Project Commentary Podcast. This is the second episode, and this one is all about why is life so hard? If you're a millennial, you may be going through some things and finding life to be a little bit more of a struggle than what you expected. I actually got the inspiration for this episode from my good friend, Melody Monroe. Say hi to the people, Melanie.
Hey, people.
She's joining us on this episode. So, I got the inspiration from an episode she recorded talking about the struggles of millennials. And, man, it just spoke to me in a way that made me say, I had to pick up the phone and say, hey, I want to talk about this too. And just kind of give my perspective. Like, you are not alone. Like,
yeah, we had a whole therapy session on the phone because of that one episode. So,
we just kind of wanted to share some of our experiences, not just let you in too much of our business, but just kind of talk about it and see if you guys can relate to some of the things that we have experienced as well.
All right. So I guess I'll just give a little bit of what I talked about in the episode. Now, it has been a while since I've recorded it. I just gave kind of like a gloss over what it's like to be a millennial, my personal experiences of being a millennial. The age gap for millennial, I believe it was like 75, 77, something like that, to about 1987, 1989. Maybe even give or take a few years.
I think you got into the 90s. I think.
Thinking. Yeah.
If I remember right, it was like 79 or 80 to 96.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think.
That's what I was. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, you're right, because I said my younger siblings barely hit that mark. So yeah, everybody has their different ranges, but that's pretty much what it is. Late 70s, early to mid 90s. And basically I talked about the different statistics about how it's kind of harder for us, being that we're too young for the older crowd, the baby boomers, who I believe were right before us, and then too old for these other millennials. I think they were called Gen Y. So just basically feeling lost and trying to find our way, I guess. We having to move back home, not really following the expectations of our parents, the path that they laid upon us. So I guess Project, he wanted to talk about the unrealistic expectations that we have to go through. So I'll go ahead and let you take it from here.
Well, the thing is honestly, like when you were giving the stats, I had no idea that I was a millennial. Like I actually thought that I was, what is it? It's like baby boomers. Then I think is what Gen X.
Gen X. I thought the same thing.
That's in between. Yeah, and I think it was kind of because when we talked about it, you said that they kind of made a distinction between old millennials and like younger millennials.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we fall into that old millennial, subset there. I was actually raised by baby boomers.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Gen Xers. You know what I'm saying? I had that, really close connection to like my grandparents and my elders, my uncles and things like that. And the first thing that like jumped out to me was when you said that we fell kind of in the middle of the technology boom and the social media boom. And it's so it's like for us born in like the 80s, I think the 80s babies really feel this.
Oh, yeah.
You were young enough to be able to embrace technology, but old enough to still look at it as a fad. You know what I'm saying? Like you would use it, but I think you were kind of conditioned to say, okay, it's a thing. It's something you can use, but it was more of an entertainment thing more than an industry all its own.
Yeah.
And it's like for the younger millennials, they got to actually look at it and embrace it as, no, this is the future. Like this is a whole industry. This is a whole new world where you can like recreate yourself and create something out of nothing, where 80s babies were kind of taught by the same standards Gen Xers were, which was get an education, get a job, hope you can retire before you're too old to give a damn about life.
Yeah. Just work, not much play. Probably play after you do retire when you can barely even move your body. But I did find this interesting thing on Instagram. I posted it on my personal Instagram, and I was just perusing my page today, and I found it again. So I was like, oh, okay, this is cool because we're talking about the topic. So it's called, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, Exennials. and they're called the first
okay.
millennials. So I think it's millennial plus the Gen X, which you were discussing. Now, they say it's about an estimate of 1977 to 1987. Current age will be between 31 to 41. I don't know when I posted this. I think I posted it earlier this year or last year. But either way, in that age group, it says the largest group after the baby boomers. Researchers say this is one of the best generations because of their contribution to family and society. They still possess the old school work hard and survive independently attitude of Gen X while starting the tech savvy sophistication of millennials. Of all generations, Xennials, or the first millennials, understand our current world the most. They were the first to experience the birth of the internet and use it. They witnessed sports greatness firsthand, from Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and from Mike Tyson to Manny Pacquiao. They played the first video games, but still knew how to play outside. They enjoyed great music throughout the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, in which hip-hop was born and still made sense. In addition to other genres of new music, they started fashionable trends and were also the first to own the first ever iPhone.
And that kind of brings me to my question. If we are so great, then why is life so hard?
I say with great power comes great responsibility. I don't know. Like you said, it's because we're in between. It feels like we are stuck in this bubble. Like I said, we're too young for the older people, but we're too old for the younger people. When I started this podcast, right before I did it, I have a YouTube channel, so I would do little videos on YouTube, mainly like movie reviews and all nerdy type stuff, which I'm into. But honestly, I felt really old doing it. A lot of my favorite YouTubers, they're my age now, but they started like 10 years ago. So they have a huge following. They're getting paid by YouTube, and I feel like I'm kind of coming in at the end of the road. Like I feel like I'm just too old to be doing this type stuff. Yeah. You know, but I'm too young to just go to a factory and work. My mom came to visit me last weekend, and she's like, Mel, have you heard from this certain government job that I got offered like 3 years ago and haven't even started? That's another subject for another time. We'll be on here all day. And I'm like, no, I haven't. And I said, to be honest with you, I don't care anymore. After a while, it was like, I was first excited about it, but after a while, it's like, I'm tired. I kind of want to do what I want to do and not what my mom wants me to do. And I don't know if I'll be happy just pushing paperwork the whole time. So she was like, yeah, there's a factory job that's hard. And before she even finished, I just cut her off and said, no, I'm not doing it. Like, she doesn't understand why I wouldn't do it. Like, you need to have a job with great benefits and this, that, and third, and retire and woo, woo, woo. And she doesn't understand why I'm constantly, not vacationing, but constantly traveling. And I'm like, because my mother is 59 years old. Sorry, Ma. Well, you're not listening to this podcast. It don't matter. She can barely work. I taught her how to use filters. So she's not listening to this. But yeah, she went to the beach for the first time when we went to Virginia Beach. And I'm like, that is sad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, that's like kind of I've been to a beach before, but I didn't really consider it a beach. It was when I was in Japan. Not that type of like sandy beach or whatever. So that was like my first time, but I'm 33 or whatever. And I'm just like, this is sad. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to wait till I'm in my 60s and 70s to enjoy the little bit of life that I have left.
Yeah. When you told me that, it made me think of is a line in a song by Starlito, a Nashville rapper. If you ain't familiar, he's in the song. He said, you know, mama just worked, paid bills, never went on vacation. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, that's so true for so many people, that it's just work, pay bills. And I look at our particular age groups, like I said, those 80s babies, late 70s, mid 80s. The 90s kids kind of got it, because I think they became teenagers at a different time. You know what I'm saying? So their exposure to what the world was becoming, they kind of caught that exposure at a more moldable time.
They were teenagers, like early 2000s or
Yeah, exactly. So for them, life was different. By the time we hit the early 2000s, we were adults. And it's like, okay, now let's get out here and figure it out. And that's why I said when we talked before that I feel like maybe the unrealistic expectation may be part of the reason why things are the way they are. Because I think about with my uncles or my older cousins and things like that, they went to high school in a time where they still had vocational training in high school. Mm-hmm. Like where you could do auto body and collision, you could do welding, plumbing, learn how to build small engines. Yeah, 4-H club, like Future Farmers of America, shit like that. It's like back then, they set you up with realistic expectations. Like, look, a couple of y'all gonna be doctors and lawyers. Mm-hmm. Most of y'all gonna work. So we're just gonna keep it real with you. Like, it's a couple of y'all that's exceptional. Most of you gonna do some regular shit, making some regular money, and have a regular family and a regular life. And we're gonna make sure that regular is exceptional as possible. You know what I'm saying? Well, then there was our generation, and by the time we kind of came through, it was this technology boom. The stock market was doing great. Everybody making money. Hip hop started to take off. You got entertainers making just bukus of money. Like everybody's getting it. Mm-hmm. So like so when we came through, it was like you can be whatever it is you want to be. You know what I'm saying? You just have to apply your mind to it. All you need basically to be successful is go out here, get an education, money starts rolling in. That was almost the expectation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then add to that, you had the fact that your parents may not have been making the best financial decisions. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't have the knowledge from a fiscal standpoint on how to handle money.
Yeah.
You didn't understand credit. You didn't understand debt. But you were told that getting education, it's going to be all right. Well, fast forward, and the reality is getting that education was going to give your ass a lot of debt. Ooh. You were going to destroy your credit for a pizza on campus.
I did. Okay, so you got that pizza too for that. Okay, so I'm sitting here thinking about.
Mine was actually a Quiznos sub. It was a Quiznos.
Well, at least I got a whole pizza out of the deal.
And I was hungry.
Okay.
And they was giving out Quiznos for a credit card application.
Yeah.
And I got my free sandwich, and I also fucked up my credit.
You got a free low credit score.
That's what happened. I got a free low credit score along with my sandwich, and then I graduated, with over $20,000 in debt. Woo! And I'm actually on the low end for most people in that situation. Yeah. And that education that I went into debt for, it didn't yield the benefits that I was told it was going to yield.
Yeah, because now, I look back, because me and Project went to the same college. I left there after a year, though. I ended up going to the military. Now, I went to college for journalism/newspaper writing. Little did I know, ain't no damn newspapers really circulating around here. So, like, I feel what you say, like, it's like the education. Yours might be a little bit better, because I think you did say something about you were in broadcasting. I kind of...
Yeah, mine was radio. Mine was RTV, but the thing is, we were kind of in the same situation. You went to school for something that was dying as you were learning it. Like, newspaper was literally on its deathbed, and they were still saying, hey, this is important. For me, radio and television production... I was getting an RTV degree when, like you said, there are kids on the internet. I call them the Hey Guys generation. They all start their YouTube videos saying, hey guys.
That's me.
They do more damn editing and know more about software than I did coming out of college.
Yeah.
And they're 8. they're like 8 years old with a damn MacBook Pro and Final Cut. And they know how to do more shit on that than I do. And I have a degree in it. Mm-hmm. Because... it used to be a skill. You had to know how to set up a camera. You had to know how to do all these things. Now, you can produce a damn movie from your iPhone.
Yeah.
You can record it and edit it and produce it on your iPhone. You don't even need the computer.
Or
there's an app
degree.
for that. There's an app for that. Like I said, we were both learning dying arts. And it's like our education system has not in any way kept up with the pace of the actual world they're calling themselves preparing you for. Mm-hmm.
it's just I thought about going back to school. I only have my associates now. And I thought about going back to school because I was like, I'm thinking of get your bachelor's, Mel. Get your bachelor's. That's what, you want it and your folks want it. And it just looks good. But then I sat and because, when I got my associates, I was using money from the military. So I wasn't looking at the cost of classes or nothing. It didn't matter. It was paid for. I didn't have to pay for my books. Nothing. I just showed up, did the work, and went on about my business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now that I don't have that money no more.
Little do you know it was going to cost you your firstborn child.
I said, damn, Gina.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't know that.
Child, I said, you know what? This bachelor's degree might not be worth it after all. But you know what? My sister, she got her bachelor's degree. Or is she working on her bachelor's degree? I don't remember. But she's like, the jobs that she wants to do, you have to damn near have a master's. So she's like, oh my God, like a bachelor's is associates now. So it's kind of like, well, what's the point? Because I'm not getting no master's. I'm sorry. I don't like school like that anymore. I'm getting too old for this shit. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah. Oh yeah, go for it.
Cool. So I'm just like, I'm not going to waste my little money to get a bachelor's. And I mean, I'm actually kind of fine with not having that. Now, I think another reason, like, especially with the degrees that we got, when we got them, and like, I actually applied for a radio station and got a job in promotions, but when I spoke with one of the people who were like I think he was like a promotion director or whatever, he wasn't making that much money, and I'm in like, at least the last time I checked, I'm in the 5th top 5 market for radio, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And if you're making probably as much as I would make as a supervisor at Ross Dress for Less, there's a damn problem. So I'm like, shit,
Thanks.
I'm not going to be able to probably survive off of what I want to do.
Yeah, I had the exact same experience. Like, I ended up going to like one of the local television stations here to, see about getting a job as like a camera operator or something like that. And like, I worked my way through school. So I had 2 jobs. I worked as a assistant manager at a rim shop, and I worked for one of the local factories. At that factory, I was already making like $17 an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In addition to whatever I was making on my second job, my side hustle. So I go in there for this job, that I've worked this hard to get my degree and all these things. And I go in there and they're like, yeah, we start out at $9 an hour. I'm like, what? You start out at poverty? I'm already doing better than that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I actually ended up with a career in sales that had nothing to do with what I went to school for, simply because it was like, I got to make a certain amount of coin. And they were talking about, like I said, starting out at like $9 an hour and hopefully working my way up to a program director making like 45. It's like, you say, huh? I mean,
and it's hard being program director. Now, if anybody knows program director, that I don't know how it is in television, but in radio, that's the top dog. Okay.
Right.
Like the CEO or whatever, but not really CEO. But you know what I mean? That's the top dog. And that person's going to be in that position probably for a long time unless they decide to move. So it ain't like there's
the dude that had been there at that station had been there like 30 years. It's like, man, I ain't got time to wait on that.
Exactly.
I'm not waiting on him to promote. I'm waiting on him to go to the upper room. I ain't got time for that. Shit.
Yeah, and they're probably already, they're well known, connected, and everything. So it's not like you're just gonna move into that position. Hey guys,
not at all. And I mean, don't get it twisted. And I don't even want it to sound like we're necessarily complaining, because I don't think we are. I think it's just really just pointing out this shit ain't what we thought it was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that struck a chord with me when I listened to your podcast was that it hit me in my spirit. And it was a conversation that I'd had with multiple other people that felt the exact same way. And we, we all kind of had the same thing. Like, what the hell happened? Like, I know there should be a reasonable expectation of struggle.
Yeah.
But it's like, at what point do we get to, I'm not saying it's going to be easy street, but at what point does it end up being a little more manageable, a little more reasonable? When does it start to level off? You expect to climb, but at some point, ain't it supposed to plateau a little bit? Like, yeah, that's the thing. Am I supposed to climb the whole time?
And you don't got time to climb the whole time. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to, and they do say millennials whine, and all that. I'm not trying to whine. I'm just expressing my frustrations. We are leaving this world at rapid speed. It's no longer when it was just your old family members passing away. So it's like I feel like time is ticking for me.
I feel you. Yeah.
I don't even have a family yet, and I'm kind of sitting here choosing, do I want a family now? I'm going on 34.
Man, that's just going to add stress. I can tell you, I got one. Trust me.
Do I need to even consider, or do I need to go for my dreams and try to, move to Atlanta or New York or California or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are like hard decisions that I need to make now. Also, with our parents coming up and our grandparents, they had a different market. Minimum wage matched your home. You were able to get these homes and everything and provide for your family. After the whole like Great Depression, if I'm remembering my history correctly, I don't know. Everything just started fluctuating. Maybe like in late 90s, early 2000s or something like that. Like food costs too damn much. Like old dude said, the rent is too damn high. Even for like a studio apartment, you paying $700-800. Like, this is ridiculous.
And I guess that's the thing, because I know you were talking about possibly going back to school. I've been thinking about going back to school too, but not for anything like technology driven. Like I'm thinking about going back to school, like being an electrician or some shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, first of all, and I think that's the difference, or kind of what I'm pointing out. In how the message that was given to our generation was not the proper message. We never should have gotten away from regular industry. You know what I'm saying? Because there are still going to be things that people need, even when, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care who you are. If your toilet clogs up, you still need a plumber. Mm-hmm. You're not going to call the IT guy. If your lights are flickering on and off and not working properly, you need an electrician. You can't Google that shit. You can't Google an answer for it. You see what I'm saying? And it's like we got totally away from specialized work and things that would make you self-sufficient. Like with my stepson now, I've been talking to him saying like, look, you don't have to go to college. You can, if there is something in particular that you need a college education to do. But having a college education does not instantly equate to money. You can make plenty of money out here with your hands and with the knowledge of the common man, as opposed to having to have a PhD in something just to get this money.
Child,
have you ever heard of
with degrees who ain't got no job?
Have you ever heard the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
No,
my sister actually. Yeah, my sister actually put me up on it, and it's basically the tale of these two kids. They were best friends, and one of them's dad was a superintendent over schools, I think in Hawaii, and the other one's dad was basically what we would call a hustler. Had his own business, and his business did a lot of different businesses. The book was talking about how the one dad was looked at as being, so rich and all this with education and all these things. But the one that would have been considered to be the poor dad was actually more financially well off, had more freedom, and lived the life that he wanted to live, as opposed to the life that he had to.
I think that's a great... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. But I'm saying, I think that's where we are now, is like everybody from our generation was shooting to be the quote unquote rich dad. We're poor everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Just chasing these unbelievable expectations. I've been working since I was 16. I'll be 34 in August.
Ooh, you're old.
I know, right? Especially by these standards. I mean, I may as well be 60. But I can count on one hand how many times I've been on a real vacation. You know what I'm saying? It's like vacation isn't an option. You work. And you work. And you work.
That sucks, though. I don't want to do it.
So I guess here's the question then. Here's the question. What's the answer? Like, is there something that we can do or something that we can suggest to anybody that listens to this that can feel the same thing? Because like I was talking to my wife about it the other day. I was like, it's almost like you had to fuck up your life, and then realize like, whoa, I did all that wrong. It's like our generation had to learn it completely on the fly, but it felt like we had the best information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like we felt like we had the best leg up walking out into the world, only to walk out there, and it was like Bugs Bunny, like that last step's a doozy. Like when you get there, it ain't what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? So what's the fix? How do we change it?
I don't know what. You know what? I think the information was given to us incorrectly. The information given to us was from people who had a certain mindset. The older generation is kind of stubborn. Sorry. But they are in their way. And it's just like, this is what we know. And this is what we're going to pass down. Like you stated earlier, they probably thought that this was just a fad, the whole internet thing. Now, like I stated, my mother is 59. She's trying to learn the computer. She was actually interested in the computers, like early 90s, but she had us, more kids to take care of and whatnot. So she couldn't really finish school and all that stuff. So now she's gone back to school to try to get her associates. Just a goal that she's always had now. And she is frustrated just trying to learn the basics of the computer. Like, I had to teach her how to email and stuff. So she feels left behind. And in some instance, I kind of feel left behind too, when I really shouldn't have been left behind. Because like you said, we had the access to all this stuff. Yeah. But we weren't pointed in that direction. Me personally, I think I'm a little bit kind of in the same boat, but different from you. I had expectations of doing something that I just love doing for the rest of my life, an actual career. I never really just wanted to just hold down a job like that. I've always wanted to be like a best-selling author or have my own magazine. Like I told you before, I wanted to be a ice figure skater or a gymnast or whatever. Like, I think my expectations was probably out the damn window. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish I'd had them expectations. Mine was get an education and chase the bag. Like, I've always been this person. Even as a kid, the expectation that was given to me was to chase the bag.
Well,
That's it.
I want the money too. One of my coworkers told me I have like a hippie vibe. And I never have really heard that before. Like, I do, I am more attracted to like how... Yeah, I guess I do have a hippie vibe. I look at like the Lisa Bonet's. If you don't know the Lisa Bonet, she's Denise Huxtable from the Cosby Show. I've always gravitated towards people like that. I've been told I've been kind of weird, a little quirky, I guess. Not your typical quote unquote black girl, whatever the hell that means.
We'll talk about that.
That's another episode. Kind of a nerd. And I've kind of always marched to the beat of my own drum. I love money. I do have somewhat of a certain lifestyle I like to uphold. I like to look nice and all that stuff. However, it's not the end all be all for me. It's about being happy. And my mother was like, she was like, what love got to do with it? What does happiness got to do with it? And I was just like, I almost clutched my pearls. And I'm like, I don't want to be miserable. Now, I did read something about, like, we have, like, high rates of depression and all that stuff. I was already diagnosed with that in the military. So it's like, I don't know. I just want to be happy. I don't want to feel clocking. Someone said having a career is like not having a Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like, tomorrow's like, gotta go into work and clock in. Can't wait for the day to be over just so I can go to bed, And
I mean, you know what? Honestly, I don't think I would mind a Monday as long as I got a vacation. You see what I'm saying? And I think that was the difference. I think that was the difference with the Gen Xers and the baby boomers. They had a lot of Mondays, but they also got to take some damn vacation.
Who took vacation? My mom didn't take vacation. My mom is just now taking vacation. She retired last year, I believe. My mother barely even took sick days for anything. I don't even think she was there for the birth of her grandchildren, for crying out loud. My mother
I just think about even just the amount of work or the amount things cost. I mean, because like, what's minimum wage now? Is it still like $8 or $7.25?
I think so, around that, yeah.
Or something. And like a gallon of milk is like $4. You know what I'm saying? Like, there once was a time where the minimum wage was $5.25, but you can get a gallon of milk for $1.50.
If that, maybe 50
You know what I'm
cents.
saying?
I mean, they had penny
Yeah, it was
candy.
it's like those numbers made more sense. Now you got to work like 3 hours to eat one day. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's what I'm saying is I feel like the quality of life has slipped in such a way, and a lot of it has to do with, I think it's multiple pieces in there, but I think mainly we just weren't prepared for what the world was really turning into.
Yeah. And it turned quick, especially after 9/11.
Man, you ain't lying. Yeah, it was right around when gas like messed around and got to like $4 a gallon. Mm-hmm. You remember that? And I was I remember that day because I was like, this shit ain't never gonna be the same. You know what I'm saying? Because like prior to that, I remember when I first started driving, gas was like 92 cents a gallon.
I was like, $92. Goodness gracious.
Nah, that's what it cost to fill up my Suburban. $92, but
he
yeah,
kept
gas
that.
was,
That was in the back of his mind, folks. Yeah. He's very upset about that $92.
Man, that shit hurts every time. But yeah, it was like 92 cents a gallon, and then it gradually went up to like $1.10. Like I remember going to the gas station when it was $1.50 and people was bitching like the gas get too high. And then it messed around and hit $4 a gallon. And I was like, gas will never be under $1 again. We'll be lucky if it's ever under $2 because they have proven that you still gonna pay for it. Even if it gets up to $4 a gallon, you still gonna pay for it.
Well, you
so
have
why
to.
would they go down to $1? You see what I'm saying?
You gotta get to work. Yeah.
And it's like at that point, I knew the shit was over. Like it's never gonna be the same. The world we thought we were in, that don't exist anymore. The good old days are gone. It just seems like it's only gotten progressively harder, and it feels like we weren't prepared. So I guess like my question for you, or my question also for my listening audience, I always want feedback, is, I mean, do these experiences mirror what you've gone through? And I guess the question is this something that we have to worry about for our kids and future generations? Or what should we be teaching them going forward? You know what I'm saying? Like, should we go back into more vocational type education in terms of like, you know, welding and that kind of thing? Or should we double down on technology and that direction? Or should everybody just kind of be artsy and do what they want to do?
I
like
think
what's next?
just do what they want to do, baby.
Man, okay. All I can say is you better be ready to be poor though. That's
As long no. As long as you should be financially responsible.
You sound like you gonna say some shit like as long as you rich in spirit. That's what I thought you was gonna say. Like as long as you rich in spirit.
Because they can't take that away from you. Children, listen to me. They can't take that away from you.
Okay.
But no, like I just thought of like, okay, so my youngest brother and sister, they're 25. My brother, he's never really liked school, like ever. He's never liked school. He's always been artsy-fartsy like me or whatever. Actually, we're all kind of artsy-fartsy, but him more so. He likes to draw and all that stuff. Mama wants him to go and get at least, wants him to do the vocational or either get an education or what. She's like, just do something. Because he's like, I don't want to go to college. I don't think that college is for everybody. And for certain people, it just isn't. And I agree with him. I don't disagree with him. I think he should probably do vocational, but he has a kind of like an entrepreneur mindset, so that might be where he fares best. I don't know. My sister, she has a 4-year-old. He's a little artsy-fartsy as well. And she's like, I'm going to have to live vicariously through him. And I feel like if I have kids, I would probably be living vicariously through them. Of course, if I have kids, now I have to get a real damn job and shit. But I mean, I do have a real job. I hope no one thinks I'm a bum on here. Please don't think that. I work. I pay the bills.
Spare some change.
some more, sir. But I feel like I would have to actually like probably go into the corporate world or whatever if I do have kids, because now they're my priority. Since I don't.
But what would you have them to do? What would you tell them?
I would want them to do what they want to do. I've never been the person to hold anybody back. I try to be realistic, but at the same time, I don't like crushing people's dreams either, because my dreams were always crushed. So if you can touch it and you have the work ethic to get to it, no matter how crazy it seems, I mean, you might just end up, you know, creating something that no one ever thought of. No one will believe this, but that drive-through that y'all go through with the screen that shows your order, I thought of that, okay? That was me. All right.
Hey, you know that's funny? It's funny. I tell my daughter this story all the time. She wants to be a cook and a something. A cook and an artist. That's what she wants to be. Mm-hmm. And you actually we've talked about my oldest because y'all are both cancers. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she's artsy too. And I'm pretty sure the child's probably going to like grow dreads at some point and do something. I don't know. But I tell her all the time, I invented the Snuggie.
Yeah.
And you remember the Snuggie, the thing. And my parents thought I was crazy, and I'll never forget it. It was like Nintendo was out, and I was cold, and I couldn't play Mario through the blanket because this was before wireless controllers.
Yeah,
I know some of you spoiled children don't know anything about that, but yes, children. You used to have to sit close to the TV to play a game,
and you couldn't save it either. So if you died, that was it. You start all over.
You either finish or start over. That's how it went.
And you had to blow on it, too.
So I'm sitting there, and I went and got my robe and put it on backwards so I could play Nintendo. Mm-hmm. My parents looked at me like I was crazy. We could have been billionaires right now if they had seen my vision. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't seen my vision, man. I invented the Snuggie, man. It was in 1992. Ooh. I did that. I did that. Mm-hmm. But no, man. But on a serious tip, though, I know for me, I teach my kids. I kind of teach them the same thing. Like, do what you want to do. But I also teach them to try and find the bag in what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
People can say what they want to. They can say money don't fix everything. But I can tell you right now, of my 99 problems, money will fix 96 of them. I say that. So all the people talking about money don't fix everything, go kill yourself. Because money will fix most of my shit.
Like they say,
if you got some money... Yeah, if you got some money that you just ain't doing nothing with, by all means, give it to me. I'll put it to good use.
When you're like that, your mantra is that money will buy that Porsche, and you can drive real close to that happiness, huh?
Exactly. You're damn skippy. You're damn skippy. You talk about money don't fix it. Or, I mean, I'm all for chasing your dreams and all that shit too. I mean, don't get me wrong. But if that dream don't have a bag attached to it, that dream may need to be a hobby. You may need to, you know what I'm saying, like... a
little side hustle, maybe.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you got like a family to provide for or something like that. But now, if you cool with doing what you do and... you know, living in whatever condition that you in until you can get to where you get to, that's fine. But a lot of times when I hear people talk about their dreams and stuff like that, I hear celebrities talk about it. Mm-hmm. I always take it with a grain of salt because I've heard so many of them say, I didn't have a backup plan. And it's like, well, that's cute because it worked. It's easy for you to say don't have a backup plan because that shit worked.
No, or you did something for it to work.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they just act like, you know, I just stuck with it. I just kept riding it out. I just didn't have a backup
There's
plan.
always a price.
It's like, man, get the hell out of here. Don't miss me with that shit.
There's always a price.
Cute. Yeah. It sounds real cute to say it out loud, but the fact is you did have a backup plan. That shit just happened to work out for you. Your first plan did. I'll leave it to the listening audience then. Whatever you guys feel, you know the ways to get to me. Talk to Project C on Twitter. Talk to Project C at gmail.com and also at Project Commentary on Instagram. Mel, you want to drop your information as well?
Instagram and Twitter, Melody Monroe XO, and that's Monroe with a U, not an O, or on Facebook, Mel in a Nutshell. Oh, and I forgot, I got a website now. www.melodymonroexo.com.
Look at you. I got to get me one too. Be like you when I grow up. So, yeah, that's been this episode, man. Like I said, we want your feedback, comments, all those things. So tell us what you think. If you're a millennial, you're experiencing the same thing. Hey, if you got some suggestions on what to do different, let us know. If you're a youngin' and you think that, you know, the world is just fine the way it is and you got a plan, hey, I kind of want to know that too. If you're old and you think we just, you know, bitching to be bitching, I'm cool with that too, but you may need to be prepared to square up if you're gonna say that to me. Because you ain't living my life. You don't know how hard this shit is out here. Right. or if you have some expert tutelage based on your wisdom as to what we should be doing, by all means, let a brother know.
Get a job, you bum.
Yeah, man, we out here just figuring it out as we go, and it is not as easy as anybody thought it would be. I've been Project Commentary.
This is your girl, Melody Monroe.
And until next time, y'all stay safe out there. Peace.